Welcome back to another episode of the Victory Podcast, driven by Audi. I'm your host, Keely Eure. Long time, no see. If you follow this podcast at all, you know we tend to go into hibernation in the summer, so I apologize for the hiatus, but don't you worry. We are out of our slumber, and we are back fully rested. And to get us back into a flow, we're beginning a summer interview series that will run through fall camp. The goal of this series is to hear directly from the players and coaches so we can get a better sense of who the Trojans are this upcoming season and where they're headed. I'm very excited for you to hear this first episode. I sat down with inside wide receivers and tight ends coach Chad Savage and a man who needs no introduction, linebackers coach Rob Ryan. Both are new to USC this offseason, but not new to the coaching game, so I was excited to sit down with them and see how the transition to SoCal has been going so far. Now, just a fair warning, some of the interviews in this series are pre-recorded from over the summer based on availability, and some are yet to be recorded. So, in that case, if there's anyone you want to hear from in particular in this series going forward, please let us know. As always, you can reach out to us via our socials at VictoryPodUSC or myself directly at Keely is my name. Alrighty, without further ado, let's jump into our first interview. I'm so excited to welcome in Coach Chad Savage. Coach, welcome to the show.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
So you talked about how the first couple months were a fire hose of information. Curious, a couple months more now in, how are you doing with the transition to USC?
Still loving it every single day. It's still just in awe every time I walk in the door and just see the USC logo, but definitely more comfortable with how things go and the daily flow of operations. Every staff member has been so great, from support staff, from operations, from the full-time coaching staff. Everybody's been great in the transition.
What did it take to get up to speed that quickly?
Showing up, waking up and going.
I'm sure.
Just wake up and go.
What's the biggest thing that you've learned since then?
I mean, there's been so many things. Just X's and O's with the head man from the offensive side, culture, especially these last few days with our new strength coach, with Coach True, discipline, and then just recruiting and evaluations from Chad Bowden and his team.
So as far as being a tight ends coach and an inside wide receivers coach, logistically, how does that work?
Well, it's the best of both worlds because I've coached tight ends themselves and I've coached receivers themselves. So I think it's the best of both worlds with my background. Both groups are going to get the same amount of coaching as the other. And, I mean, from a pass game standpoint, the coaching points are going to be relatively the same for when the tight ends are flexed out in the slot, because now the inside guys and the tight end coaching points are essentially the same thing. Now, when it comes to run game, obviously the inside guys are going to be more in space, and so they got to be better perimeter blockers than the tight ends. Tight ends will be asked to do stuff in space at times, but when they're playing in the core, those coaching points are going to be a little differently, so I just got to be specific with them. But when I am specific with those guys, I think it's going to help those receivers be more complete football players, because now they got to learn everything left to right and right to left.
So not only were you learning how to be a coach here at USC, but you're also learning your position room, especially in spring camp. What did you learn in that regard with your players?
Just the different personalities, the different skill sets, their strengths, their weaknesses, what we got to improve on going forward, some things we got to fine-tune this summer.
You've credited Coach Simmons for helping you with the transition as well. What's that like working with him and the dynamic between outside receivers as well?
It's been great. I mean, we speak the same language. We're on the same page, from individual drills to obviously we don't meet together all the time, but if we do meet together as an entire unit, just making sure we're on the same page with the passing game, our splits, just so everyone sees eye to eye with everything in the offense.
It's one thing to see Coach Riley's offense from the outside, but to now be on the inside, how much more, I guess, respect have you gained for his mind in that sense?
Nothing but respect. He's obviously one of the best minds and one of the most respected play callers there is, and it's because of how he operates on a day-to-day basis. He's very confident in how he operates an offense, and I think that trickles down to the team and also us as staff members. But, I mean, when his juices are flowing and he's dialing up some plays, it's amazing.
I know something that he's talked about is trying to get the tight ends more involved in the pass game, and obviously that's something that they need to earn on the field, as he said before. What to you is the difference maker to get them involved in the pass game?
Obviously, we just got to show that we're worthy of doing so he can trust us as a play caller, because if we can't perform that in practice as a play caller, he's not going to trust us. And so just showing that we can execute in the run game, execute in the pass game, and something that I've been working with these guys, just fine-tuning how to understand certain leverages, how to attack leverage, how to win one-on-one battles, and then just being cleaner at the top of our routes.
What's interesting is this is the deepest this tight end room has been. I know it's your first year, but it's the deepest. It's fascinating, too, because I feel like there's so many unique traits per player.
Yeah, everybody's different.
Yeah, do you feel like you kind of have a jack of all trades as a whole as a group?
We really do, and we obviously had a few guys out this spring that didn't practice all 15 practices, so it's going to be great this summer because now everybody's healthy, just working with everybody. But yeah, there's definitely a jack of all trades, and you got different skill sets, different personalities with all 6, 7 guys.
And if I'm not mistaken, you work with punt return as well, special teams. I feel like there's so many variables when it comes to being a good punt returner. How do you attack that as a coach?
I mean, you really don't want to complicate it because it's not that complicated. The biggest thing is, can we trust you back there and get the ball to the offense? Don't try to do too much, because if you misjudge the ball or you don't know if you're going to fair catch it or if you're going to return it, just get the ball to the offense and we'll go from there, because you don't want to negatively affect the drive start average for the offense.
How do you work on that trust?
I think just understanding how the guys operate on a day-to-day basis. If we're just doing the everyday drills pre-practice while the team's stretching, that's the time I have with the returners. And if they're goofing around, if they're lackadaisical with how they're catching the ball, I mean, they show us what kind of player they are.
Okay, so it's just in the attitude as well, where that trust comes from.
Yeah, and even in the film room, asking guys certain questions or situations of in special team scenarios, how do they respond? Do they know what we're looking for? All that stuff.
That makes sense. Who specifically, because we haven't been able to really watch practice, who in your mind are leading as far as punt returners?
I think Mekhi Lemon, it's his job to lose. But there's some other guys, some freshmen did a great job. JJ, he had a tremendous spring, and then Alex Graham, when he was healthy, he did a really good job too.
As far as just the difference special teams can make, how have you seen it impact the game, a good special teams unit rather than a poor special teams unit?
Yeah, I mean, special teams is the difference in games, because a team could be really good on offense, good on defense, good on both, but if they can't win that third phase of the game, they're going to be in trouble. And so Coach Riley's constantly emphasizing special teams, and our best players got to play on teams, and Coach Doherty does a great job. And so now it's just making sure we take that next step as a program, and I think we're going to do so.
You made a name for yourself at Colorado State being a recruiter. Was that something that you set out to do, or did that just happen naturally with your skill sets?
I think naturally I'm a people person, so I'm able to relate to people. But as a coach, I mean, it's your job to develop your room, which I took pride in doing so, and I had an NFL player this last year. And then you also got to recruit, and I was able to recruit some really good players. But at the end of the day, it's just, I don't know, I think it's what the job asked to do, and I showed up every single day trying to do my best job.
How nice is it to now recruit the Southern California area in Southern California?
It's great, and especially with this logo on.
Oh, I'm sure. And you mentioned before how the perception of USC has evolved over the years, especially in the Lincoln Riley era. What have you seen in that regard?
Just these last few weeks when we were on the road in the last week of April and May is just kind of rekindling some of these relationships with some schools where SC hasn't been as present. And so rekindling those relationships, they're super excited because they want their kids to go to USC. They want their kids to stay close to home. And so just making sure we're doing our due diligence with these schools and we're showing up, spending time with these guys, and understanding that we're also emphasizing we want to keep the best players at home.
Yeah, from your perspective, how important is that mantra to keep SoCal kids in SoCal?
I think it's very important. Obviously at USC you can recruit on a national level, but if you got someone that's one of the best players at the position in the backyard, why leave when he's right here?
How much does that help in, this era of college football where you're recruiting for the place and the tradition and the pride rather than other things that may be involved in recruiting these days?
I mean, I think everything factors in, but once you get a kid on campus and you walk up the stairs of our facility, you see the number of national championships, you see the Heisman trophies, and it just catches people on. They just understand that, hey, history does repeat itself. Why don't you be a part of it? As
far as, going against this defense, what did you see in practice this spring?
A ton of different looks, well-coached, well-disciplined unit, and a lot of different skill sets. I mean, defensive line, there's some bruisers up there, some athletic backers, and some athletic guys in the secondary, and I think it's one of the best defensive staffs, if not the best defensive staff in college football.
What's it like seeing Rob Ryan as a position coach out there?
He's awesome. He's hilarious.
Yeah.
I sit next to him in staff meetings. He's awesome. He's awesome.
Are you able to focus in staff meeting with him next to you?
Yeah, prior to the head man talking, I mean, he's always saying something that's got me laughing, but obviously once Lincoln starts talking, we're all listening.
With how much experience there is, just on that side of the ball, are you trying to be kind of a sponge yourself, trying to learn from all the experience in the room?
Yeah, I mean, you're a sponge with everything we do at USC, from talking to a defensive guy. I mean, so many people have so many different backgrounds and a success wherever they've been, and so you want to be a sponge with whoever you're talking to.
What's something you learned in that sense?
I mean, I could go on and on, to be honest. We could talk all day.
Hey, that's what we're here for. Just one example.
With the defensive staff or just in general?
Whatever stands out to you. It doesn't matter.
I mean, just the organization on how Lincoln operates an offense, especially with cut-ups and game planning, practice planning, very organized. And I mean, he could find a cut-up from when he was calling plays at East Carolina or when he was back at Oklahoma. I mean, he could access those plays in 5 seconds. And so it's very organized, very detailed, and I think it obviously just helps us as a staff operate in the right direction.
How much does that matter in this day and age with so much going on in college football to be organized, to be detailed, to know, that time management skill?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a believer the difference are in the details, and it's when someone's detail-oriented and organized, it goes a long way.
So when you come in and you have new position groups, new players to work with, what goes into the process of getting to know them both on and off the field?
Just being yourself, number one. I don't want to be a phony person because they're going to see through that. But I always tell my guys that in order for them to trust me and vice versa, it's built on communication, demeanor, and actions. How we communicate with each other, how we act around the building, how we act on the practice field, and then just performing our duties every single day. And I think if they see me on who I am every single day and they act and perform a certain way as a football player and a student athlete, we're going to respect each other. But that trust isn't going to be built overnight, obviously. So it's not like me getting hired back in January. These guys were fully trusting me January 15th. Yeah. They need to see me run an install, run drills at practice, and see how I carry myself every single day. And I think we're getting there, and I love coaching these guys.
It seems like authenticity is such a core value for you. How early did that become a value that you prioritize?
I couldn't tell you. I think just being raised in my family, it was built on treating people the right way and being yourself.
And obviously that's worked out for you on the recruiting trail as well.
I'd say so.
I mean, how hard is that to do? Because I feel like recruiting there's games and it's competitive. How hard is it to just stay true to yourself, or is that the only way that is, the best way?
I mean, you see it when you see different coaches interact with other players. I mean, it's just they're a certain way, or they're all ball, and they can't really relate to kids. So I think if you can relate to a kid's beyond just surface level conversations, you're going to be able to connect with that person. You're going to be able to connect with their family, and if you can do so, you're going to have an upper hand in the fight.
In that sense, it sounded like you had, and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounded like you had kind of like an exit interview of sorts with your players after spring camp. Is that true, and how did those go?
Correct. Yeah, we did exit interviews with all the players. Asking what they thought they did well, what they could improve on, how I could improve as a coach, and then just some goals going forward. Just some short-term goals, long-term goals, but I'm a firm believer that if you have a goal, you got to have a daily action plan. And so we mapped that out. Everybody's on the same page, and it was definitely some really good interviews. How
collaborative is that, or is it more the players coming to you with their thoughts?
It's a two-way street, and I'm going to keep them realistic too.
Yeah. Why do some guys kind of come in with?
I mean, obviously we're always going to shoot for the stars, but at the same time we're going to be realistic. Like if I've got a true freshman that says he's going to come out here and be a 2,000-yard receiver, I mean hasn't really been done. But we're going to shoot for the stars, but okay, how are we going to be that 2,000-yard receiver, or how are we going to win the Mackey Award or the Blitnikoff Award? Daily action steps and academic goals, body weight goals, weight room goals, all that factors in. And I think if you got a daily action plan and you're reminded about that every single day, I think you're going to be in good shape. And so I always tell those guys to just put those goal sheets where you're going to see it every single day, whether it's brushing your teeth in the morning, whether it's in your locker when you get here every single morning, just so you're constantly reminded and don't lose sight of that stuff.
When talking about the daily plans, how detailed do you get when you break down those action steps? Like, can we get an example of what that looks like?
I mean, so say if you want to be a 1,000-yard receiver, okay, a daily action step is I'm going to catch a certain amount of balls on the jugs machine. I'm going to work on my grip strength, or I'm going to watch Amon-Ra St. Brown's NFL tape and take something from his game and implement it in my game. Just something like that.
And I'm sure that helps you as a coach, too, because now you both are on the same page. You know what's expected, and so they either meet those requirements or don't, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. As far as, what this summer looks like heading into fall camp, how are you gearing up for what the season will look like?
So right now, our day-to-day work, we watch essentially spring cut-ups as an offensive staff, just deciding what we want to – if we want to change any concepts, what we want to keep, what we want to emphasize this summer, and then we're organizing our drills for our players for when they have their player run practices, we're organizing our walkthroughs or our individual time for the amount of hours when we're allowed to be with our guys. And so we've mapped all that out through July. And then we're just obviously recruiting our tails off right now as well.
What's it like? And we can't talk about specifics, but what's it like to, be part of the momentum on the recruiting trail and the way that this is going lately?
I think the momentum is real, and we're just getting started.
What makes you believe you're just getting started?
You guys will see.
Okay. As far as like Chad the human, if you will, what's something that Trojan fans wouldn't know about you off the football field?
I'm a 6th-generation Northern Nevadan.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And is that something that like
a lot of people think I'm from Southern California.
Yeah.
But I'm actually a 6th-generation Northern Nevadan.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did that come
and
about?
My family's business has been around since 1893 in Reno, Nevada.
Oh my gosh, what's the business?
Plumbing, heating, and HVAC.
That's incredible.
Yep.
What do you learn about that as a young kid?
Well, I had no choice. When I was in high school, I had to work there, but it wasn't my cup of tea.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were like.
And then it's actually pretty funny. My dad's 2 of his brothers, they're both coaches.
Oh my gosh! So your family's either like football coach or family business.
Oh, they're actually baseball coaches.
Oh, okay. So coaching in general is
Yep.
in the blood. That's fascinating.
Yep.
How much is there to learn in general about the coaching business from like your mentor and your uncle? Like how much does that cross over regardless of the sport?
I think a lot. I mean, whether it's a basketball coach, baseball coach, soccer, volleyball, it doesn't matter. You take X's and O's out of the picture. There's how to run a program, communication, culture stuff, all that stuff factors in. And so I'm always trying to pick his brain, or he's given me some words of wisdom here and there, but he's been great since I've decided I wanted to be a coach, and I always looked up to him. And we talk all the time. We text almost every other day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
In that sense, how much would you like, if you had to make a pie chart, how much of coaching is people and how much of it is X's and O's?
I'd say 90% people.
Wow.
Yep.
That much? Why that much?
I mean, I think people win you games because the type of people that you have understand the practice habits, what it takes to be a good player, the mental capacity. Can they handle how many plays and what volume of how much volume in the playbook? Do they show up every single day? Are they consistent with their attitude and their approach? And if they've got that, obviously they're going to be able to execute those X's and O's. But if you've got 90% X's and O's and 10% of it are some lesser people, you're probably not going to be very good.
USC fans are very anxious over the offseason, getting ready for fall. What's your message for them as they head into this upcoming season?
Just trust what we're doing. Obviously, from the outside looking in, everybody follows social media, but there's a lot more to it in the office and what the players are doing. And there's been a lot of change at USC, but it's been positive change. And so just to trust the decisions that Coach Riley's made, and everything's going to pay off in the right way.
Awesome. Well, Coach, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys.
Alrighty, I'm so excited to welcome in the legendary coach, Coach Rob Ryan. Coach, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Keely, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's going to be great.
So I'm curious, spring camp is in the books. You're in summer right now. What's it been like transitioning back into college football?
It's been awesome. I tell you, the recruiting it was really cool until the one day I had 5 flights in one day. That was a little hectic.
5 flights?
Yeah, that was tough scheduling. Need to relook at that. But it's been fantastic. I mean, absolutely love this place and love what Lincoln's doing and Danton is with the defense and Lincoln with the team. I mean, it's been awesome. It's so exciting. I can't wait for the season.
What did you learn in spring camp now that you got to see your group on the field?
I know we got a great group, and it's getting better and better. And I know with the hiring, just take the hiring that Lincoln's done. Everybody knows Lincoln is the best offensive mind in football. I mean, him and McFay, who's 1-2, I don't know, but everybody knows it's those two. And then. But, the thing people may not know about Lincoln, and I saw it firsthand, he's like we're going at each other, offensive defense. I see him, and the thing what he's done, he is the most competitive guy I think I may have ever been around.
Wow.
And, I mean, he's just been – people see, they saying things about us, whatever. He's been wrapping those fingers up. He's been wrapping the knuckles up, and he's preparing. And when you go out and you hire a Chad Bowden to be our general manager – he didn't hire a friend. He got the best, and you look at the job he's done already, just being here. Like we have a number one recruiting class. Yeah, it's Lincoln and Chad. Like he hired the best, and you get the best. So it's awesome what he's done there. And then go out and get Coach True, the strength coach. And Rob Glass is, everybody knows he's the best strength coach in college football. But you go out and get this Coach True to leave that program, a young program that he loved, to come here. This is the best. This is like hiring Mike Wojcik. And, most people, who is Mike Wojcik? I don't know. He had 6 Super Bowl rings from 2 teams, from New England and Dallas, and he was a strength coach. And he had a bigger impact than almost anybody. Maybe save Brady with New England, but, I mean, he got us that way. He made us that way. And at Dallas, the same way. A strength coach for a college program, he hired the best. Hey, that's not easy to do. You get out there, and that's one of his best friends, and you're going to hire the best. And he did that. We all know we did. We hired the best coaches. I mean, well,
the legend.
Actually, yeah, and I want to talk about that. I mean, Trayvon Reed. You hire Trayvon Reed. This is a guy that I was hearing about in the NFL. Like, oh, this is the next great secondary coach. And I go out on the road. I go to USC. I'm out on the road for a week. I come back, and there he is. I'm like, where did he get this guy? How do we get him? So the competitiveness, like, wait till this season starts, and you see Lincoln and our team come off ready to bell. When that bell rings for this season, look out, because it's on. And we know it is, and it's going to be awesome.
Well, one of the things you said about Coach Riley was that you didn't realize how great of a leader he is. What have you seen in that regard?
No, it's incredible. I mean, there's leadership right there. Like, when you step out on your own, it's easy to be comfortable, hire people and all this. He went and hired some unbelievable people in this building, to go with the great Danton Lynn already. I mean, the guys that were already here. That shows a remarkable leadership, to go out there and do it. But, with the way this team's heading in the right direction and everything pointing forward, I mean, this is going to be awesome. And his leadership's just another one of those things that I admire most about Lincoln.
Coach Lynn said it took a couple phone calls to really convince you to make sure that you thought at first you thought he was joking, I think he said. Yeah. So when did it start to flip in your mind that, like, hey, this is a viable thing I could do?
Well, I mean, first of all, it starts with all those USC guys that I used to coach. That's all they would wear, the USC stuff. They loved the brand. And then, and I knew Dan was here, so I liked him. I was following him. I saw, he improved the defense a lot. And then he called. I'm like, no, man, I'm 25 years in a row here in the NFL. I'm not going to leave now. And, then I realized, well, Lincoln Riley is there. And I'm like, that's a coach I've always admired because, anybody that's spent any time in Oklahoma, state of Oklahoma, knows Lincoln Riley. And I'm like, well, let me see what this guy's all about. And then I talked to him. I'm like, man, I really like this guy. So let me come out and meet him in person. And I loved him even more than that. So that's how it switched, though, And then to have my son here with me, yeah. That just made it perfect. So I know what's going to look like. This is going to be awesome, and I know it's going to get better and better. But it's on now. Understand, it's definitely on.
What does it mean to you to kind of continue the legacy, having your son here, having that legacy of football throughout your family?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is I want him to be around great people, and football. The great thing about the great schools, the great USC's and professional football is. It's the people. It's the people. And it's a people business. So, I want him to be in the best job in the world, which is the one I have. And it's been good for me for 62 years. I've been, maybe it feels like I've been coaching 62 years, but I've been, whatever it is. But so I want him to be around the best people. And I haven't worked a day in my life when I am who I am. And, the biggest thing I can teach him is be yourself. And if you love football, it'll come out. Players will see that. They'll play for you. They'll want to win for you, and that's what they'll do for Matthew.
In that sense, given the experience you just laid out, is there anything that you know now in your career that you would tell yourself younger when you were first getting into coaching football?
Well, there's a couple things. I mean, me turning down Andy Reid to be his coordinator probably was probably the dumbest thing ever. So I tell him, dude, take the Andy Reid job. And then, I did leave a 2-time Super Bowl champion to take a job, but but I wanted to work for Al Davis, so I can't. That's no regrets there. But I wouldn't change much. I've had a great life in coaching, and it's still going. I'm going to coach till I'm 70 years old. It's my wife's making me, and but that's what it's going to be, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
In that sense, how far back do you and Coach Lynn go?
Well, I mean, we go back. His father, Anthony, is like one of the best friends of Rex.
Okay.
So they grew up, and he left when I went to Cleveland. He left. I'm like, why? But then Rex hired him. But so we go back several years when Rex was coaching for the Jets.
Okay.
They had Danton playing for him, and he was a good player, but he's a better coach. Like, he was a good player. He was tough, but he's the best, coach. And like, the sky's going to be the limit. We're so lucky to have him here, and But so that's been a long. And both families have the same characteristics. They're both genuine people, and we're both really tough. And it's just those are family. That's the tradition. Things we have. We both love football. Both families love football, and they love the work and everything football brings to us. Both families really appreciate.
How much did that help your transition, having Lynn as the DC and helping you kind of acclimate to the Trojan lifestyle?
Oh, I wouldn't have been here if Dan wasn't here. Trust me. I was happy with the Raiders, and like my fellow, the USC alum Mark Davis, and I know Al loved USC, but I got his blessing. Oh, Rob, I went there. I'm like, no. He goes, yeah. I'm like, that's awesome. But I mean, I chose here first for Danton, and then I got to meet Lincoln. I'm like, oh, this is going to happen. We're going to make this happen.
Now, talking about your room, obviously so much praise for Eric Gentry and what a unicorn he is. What can he do for this defense on the field?
He's going to do everything, So they better identify him, or they're in trouble, because he's a great playmaker. But with Des Stevens too, like you got a lot of trouble dealing with these guys. And this Jaden Walker, if you saw all the spring, which I know you did, this 31 jumped out. So we've got a great group. We've got some good guys coming in. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about them, so I'm not
Probably
going
not,
to.
No.
So I'm not going to.
Good.
But we got a good-looking tall kid, but three real tall good-looking kids. But we got a great room. They're great. They love football. You'll see. They're gonna play harder than everybody else. They're gonna hit harder than everybody else. And they're gonna have more fun than anybody. But they're gonna do it the right way. And I always tell them, 92%, man, it's nothing but love. The 8%, I take a crowbar to these guys and make them go. But we're gonna go, and we're gonna do it right too. And people are gonna be proud of this unit. I promise you.
Yeah, you described it as like a violent mentality. How do you instill that in your players?
I mean, it's easy. They're defensive guys. I mean, they're violent people. I mean, they're great people off the field, but on it, it's a different world, and it's not for everybody. And the violence you have to play with, to be successful, you have to play violently in football, but really in any professional sport. I mean, the most physical teams always win. Yeah. So in boxing, pretty easy, but in football, basketball, hockey, I mean, it's just the truth. And football is the greatest sport in the world, and it is a violent sport.
You mentioned Jaden Walker is a guy who wants to learn as much as he can. What does that do for you as a coach who knows so much, that has someone that's just a willing student in that regard?
And I mean, they're all like Des is a young guy too. I mean, so it's great, because you see them, they're so talented. And then if you can teach the game to slow down a little bit for them, then they're really going to jump off. And both these guys will be great players for us this year.
What does it take to have the game slow down? Where do you start? Like, how do you, if I was a player coming into your office going, Coach, I want the game to slow down for me, where are we starting? What are we looking at?
Well, I think you'd have to hold up an eye chart for you. And if you can see the big E, you're doing good.
Okay.
But the biggest thing is getting their eyes right. Once you get a linebacker's eyes right, now you have a chance. And then it's going to be up to their body and how they can handle it, and can they handle the toughness of that position. Because it's a wonderful position, but it's one of the most violent positions there is, and you have to have agility, speed, everything. And when you have guys that have it all, it's fun. You know, it's fun. And that's really what I've been around the last 25 years, and USC is no different than the guys I just had for all those years.
So here on the podcast, we pride ourselves in having smart listeners, smart fans. If football fans want to get smarter watching the game, what would you suggest they do?
That's a great one. Well, watch Lincoln heavily on offense and
Yeah.
see how he attacks defense, because, you know, if he knows what you're in big trouble. And you'll have your first indication when that scoreboard keeps lightening up. And then on defense, it's I think it's how many people you get to the football and with the right attitude. And we're going to try to take the ball away from them as fast as you can. So the great defenses always do that. They always play violently. They swarm tackle, and they take the ball away.
Something you mentioned was Friday groups, I believe.
Yeah.
Was that a initiative to try and get to know more of the roster? What was that like for you?
That was interesting. That was the first time I've ever done anything like that. And Lincoln came up with the idea of having these groups, and we had an awesome group. But now we're getting ready. We're going to start a new group up tomorrow, but looking forward to it. But I absolutely love the guys that were in my first group. But you get to know everything about them, you know. So it's really cool. I'm a big fan of a lot of those guys are on offense, and
Okay.
you know, shoot, I don't just know them by number now. I actually know their names, and they're great kids. And you know what makes them tick, and you enjoy them. You know, like the left tackle, Elijah, the quarterback, who's on a young guy. You know, I mean, these are great kids. And, you know, so it's fun to be around those guys and to not just know my position and know a lot of the defensive guys, but especially my backers, but also to get to know the rest of the team is really a cool thing, and it's great. It's more than just football. It's about the people.
So what does that look like? What does a Friday group look like with Coach Ryan? What do you do?
Oh, well, I mean, you usually get a question that has come through the professor, you know, whoever's coming up with those, and they lay it out there, and you usually try to follow it. But as you're noticing now, if it says it on there, I may not answer that.
Sure.
I may just come up with my own stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but it's been great. Like, you know, they usually give you, you know, some good question, and you know, it requires a little thought, and you let it eat, you know. You open it up. It's open forum, so it's you know, the first time, man, guys are like, shoot, by the end of it, they're like, oh, yeah, cool, yeah, you know. So
How do you get them out of their shell? Just
I think it's just being honest, and
Yeah.
honest, open, and like my backers will tell you, you know, we're real.
something that I thought was really poignant is that you highlighted some of the walk-ons at practice and how much that kind of refreshed your memory of how, I don't want to say pure, but just the different style of play that college football is. There's just a different, like, you know, love for it at a certain degree. How much did those walk-ons kind of refresh your memory in that regard?
No, it was awesome. I mean, now, granted, I have the two best. Like, you know, I got Q and Cheese. I mean, these guys are awesome. Everybody loves them. They play so hard. They're great people. But it's amazing. You know, I know what the roster is going to be sized down eventually, and it's going to lose some of that. Like, you know, you think about Clay Matthews. Clay Matthews in a Hall of Fame. He's a Matthews, for God's sakes. A USC blood running through that guy. Great hair. And he was a walk-on. Like, what? But that's what you have. And these kids play. Like, the two I have play. But they earn their play. Like, you're a walk-on, you usually get no time at all, but you have to be doing something unbelievable to get noticed. And there's stories like that. You know, my God, they made a movie, Rudy, for crying out loud. Wasn't that good because the guy wasn't from USC, but it should have been. He wasn't good enough to walk on at USC.
There you go. Now, as far as, you know, you talk about the players you had in the NFL who were proud Trojans. You have an idea of USC before you get here. What's your sense of USC now that you've been here for a couple of months?
I see what they're talking about. I mean, it's got everything. Like, you know, take Palomalo. He's just got a big contract with the Raiders. Okay, Isaiah.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, this is a USC, typical USC kid. Come out there. Oh, good-looking, tall kid. All right, he can run. He can play. He's athletic. Well, he learns, you know, he learned how to play at USC.
Yeah.
He played, you know, pretty good, but he's getting better and better. He meets his wife here, who's dominating in the theater department. Meets her like, hey, there's a beautiful girl. Yeah, find out she's smart and great. Now they're married. So they got that. So we all know it's the number one campus life there is in USC and all the schools. That's all of them. Then you play the best, football, which is going to be here with the Trojans. And now look at his life; it's just booming. He changed his life by going to USC, and I see it. Willie McGinnis, by God, they ought to have a statue of him up over here at USC, because nobody represents his team more than us. Like, I know every time he's in there working out with Tom Brady every single day. Oh, Brady did this. Well, he had Mike Wojcik, he had Willie McGinnis. He changed his body because they made him, but believe me, he had the USC repping now. Every once in a while you see a Michigan shirt. Throw that off. Put Patriots or USC on, like, for crying out loud, Brady. But he loved it, loved it. And then you get KM and all these guys. Like, these guys love USC. And, so it's cool. And then, Jeff Fisher, you want to go back 100 years? Jeff Fisher, my dad got him into coaching. He ended up being a great coach, and but he was a kick returner and all that stuff, and I don't know if he made All-American here. Dennis Thurman, another one, just made the Hall of Fame in college, who's been a long-time assistant with my brother. So, I mean, yeah, USC people, they're always repping it.
Well, okay, given all the success you've had in every level of college football, or football, is there a common denominator for success in football that you've noticed?
I think when you got great players, you got a really great chance to be successful, and that's number one. But I just think the more you put into football, the more it'll give back to you. And when you pour everything, your heart, your soul, your love into football, you can change your life. And Max Crosby's I love Max. Max Crosby changed his life. He went to directional Michigan school, Eastern Michigan. And now look at him. He's the highest paid player that ever played defense, or ever played a position other than quarterback. And he deserved it. He works so hard. He loves football. He puts so much into it, and he gets everything back. And he didn't do it for that. He did it to be the best, and that's who he is. But everything comes along with it. One thing at USC, you're guaranteed. You go to USC, you're going to graduate, you're going to have a job for life when you get this degree from USC. When you're going to have friends for life on the team, because it's that atmosphere that Lincoln provides here. But the one thing you're not guaranteed is a championship. Those 11 championships they've had to earn those. Those weren't given. And that's what we're here to do. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to earn them.
That feedback loop you talked about, putting in what you get out, is that what has kept you in football for so long? Like, how rewarding it is in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I do. It's a hard life as a coach on families, but when you got a great wife like I had, I always kid you got either a great wife or ex-wives, and I've had both. I got a great one. She's been with me 30 years, and man, she's tougher than nails, but she's awesome. Because you have to be mother and dad and everything. But if you can get over that, if you got a great one in your corner, man, the rest is all, I mean, it's great. You're around the best people in the world. You're around the alpha male, the greatest dudes around. They're the most disciplined people. You can't get up to that level without being disciplined, and I admire them. I admire the courage they have to have. I wasn't good enough to, I was terrible. But I wasn't tough. Like, I was a tough guy, but I had no athleticism or any of that. So you got to admire these guys, and it's fun to be around. It's fun to watch them improve. It's fun to watch them make Pro Bowls and get the money now to change their lives and their kids' lives, and be champions is like the greatest thing.
One final thing for you. I know USC fans are very excited, very anxious for this season. Do you have a message for them to hold them over for the summer so that they can get ready for fall?
Yeah, we're taping our knuckles. Watch what happens.
Awesome. Well, Coach, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
All right, enjoy it. Thank you.
That's going to wrap it up for today's episode. Thanks so much for watching, and big thanks to both Coach Savage and Coach Ryan for taking the time to sit down with me and give us a better sense of what their time at USC has been like so far. We've got more conversations coming your way throughout this series, different voices, different perspectives, but all part of this team story. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next episode.